Welcome to Spring LIB.
Alrighty, so today we're going to be looking at trade barriers and how trade barriers affect certain domestic industries while affecting others. Right, so to start off, we'll look into what trade barriers are. And simply, it's government policies that place restrictions, on international trade. And it can either make trade more difficult and expensive by adding tariff barriers or prevent trade completely through embargoes. And we'll take a deeper look into these later on. So, simply, trade barriers stops or reduces exports and imports, right? It just reduces the flow of both imports and exports to foreign countries. Um, as I briefly went over before, examples of these barriers include tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers, quotas, embargoes, and many more to reduce the imports and exports. And a common example that many countries have is a trade barrier for crops, right? For fruits and vegetables. And lots of countries do this to promote domestic farmers and encourage consumer spending on domestic produces to benefit, the farmers and to increase the well-being of farmers and crop growers. And in simple terms, it protects industries at home from the strength of multinationals who have lower costs, while affecting more developed industries who thrive on exports. And let's look into that. So suppose I am a startup tech company, creating my own line of cell phones, right? And the cost of creating these cell phones is very high for startups, right? Getting domestic materials like the motherboard and the screen and all that costs a lot if it's all domestic, while multinationals, including Apple and Samsung, have cheaper access to cheaper materials through their exports and globalization. So it protects industries from importing these more well-known brands, and it helps these startup companies as they're um, able to take advantage of the domestic group. Um, but trade barriers affects more developed industries who thrive on exports, right? Who want to sell their goods overseas and want to globalize and expand. So it takes a hit on those developed industries while protecting startups and domestic companies. And that basically sums it up. So well-known companies will take a hit, right? Because they won't be able to export, while startup companies and domestic companies and businesses will benefit